So part of forgiveness is about giving up the hope that the past could be any different. And so when we're holding on to this grudge and this anger, it actually shifts our frequency. And so we bring in more of those frequencies as an opportunity to release that anger or forgiveness that we've been holding on to for decades. And quite frankly, I was the one who wore it like a badge of honor. I mean, really, I was not good. So, and I'm going to say that there are layers, right, to our anger. And because when we're talking about forgiveness, we're talking about anger, right, and sadness. And hurt. So, and hurt, pain, right? Mm-hmm. And when you hold on to this anger and pain and, grudge, the only one you're hurting is you. Do you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I will tell you, and I don't even know if I have it here. I don't. It's okay. I thought I grabbed it. Don't really need the notes. I went through this very thing in the last 2 days. I think that's why I feel like it's been at least 3 months. So, hold on a second. Let me just. Okay. So I had a full hysterectomy, Michelle, back in 2011. And it was 9 months after my mom passed. And she had ovarian cancer. And then I realized that I had cysts all over my female parts. And when they got in there, they found out it was a parasitic cyst. So they were just like taking up space and not paying rent. Right. And I think I can say this now without crying because I spent the last 3 days crying, or 2 days crying. So I 2 weeks ago, I got my period. Yes.
Okay.
Right.
So how does that work?
Right. I know. So my body's gotten so healthy, and they had left. Andrew. Okay, we'll address Andrew. So I got my period, and several other medical intuitives, we all agreed that I have ovaries again. Now, they're not full big ovaries, but they're like almond size. They grew back because they left a little piece in there so that I wouldn't go into heavy duty menopause.
Oh, okay.
So
I was going to say how physically is that possible? But that makes sense.
It goes back. That's how powerful our bodies are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So, to prove that I didn't have ovaries, I called my doctor, who is now retired, but I called his old office, and I asked him to send me the paperwork for the surgery from 2011. And it came in, 2 days ago. We opened it up right before bed, and I literally almost went to my knees. Mm-hmm. And I went to my knees because the size that they pulled out of me was like the size of apples. Each cyst was the size of like an apple. Okay. That's not even the worst part. It was green. The fluid was green and brown. Let that sink in, because I was a toxic waste dump. My body, I had used my body as a toxic waste dump. Because part was because I took medications, but the other part was that the food industry had done that for me too. Because I started having very heavy periods as a teenager when I was, still living at home in Barrington. And they put me on the pill, which made me crazy, right? Put an empath on the pill, right? And the so you don't get pregnant, but they did it to make my periods less pronounced. The point is our food supply and was having havoc with how my body functioned, and I never knew it. But it's one thing to see yourself blow up to 235 pounds because of medications and all that. It's another thing now as a clairvoyant and someone who can see, like, I'm a seer. So when I read what was in the paper, I literally could see it in my body. And that was enough to like bring me to my knees. And so then I had to go into forgiveness. Because first I went into sadness, then I went into anger, and then I had to forgive. And I had to forgive who? Not the pharmaceutical industry. I had to forgive myself. Because I was mad at me for allowing it to happen, for not taking care of myself. And so I share this story, and I would ask you to say, where does this show up for you? Where are you not being strong enough, not being wise enough, in your opinion, that you're holding it against yourself? And then it's leading you on your path where you're not getting fulfillment in your life. So if
I
anybody
think
has,
the not even metaphor, but the story there, the lesson there is that when we hold negativity in our bodies, we create toxicity. Negativity and unforgiveness and anger and hurt and pain that we hold on to is toxic. Not that hurt and pain isn't ever going to, we're never going to experience that. But it's when we hold on to that, like you said, Jody, like a badge of honor. We've all been through things. We are continuing to go through things in our life. It's called lessons. Nobody's lesson is more difficult than somebody else's because they were meant for us. So all of our lessons they're exactly like they need to be. I think, sometimes we can look at others and we can think, especially with today's age of social media, we can think somebody else's life is so much easier or so much better, or the lessons that they are having to learn are so much easier. And we can hold on to anger and frustration and resentment toward God, our families, ourselves, whatever. And a couple of things in there, we really don't know typically what's going on behind closed doors. Social media presents people in the way that they want to be presented. And if we hold on to those things, we're creating toxicity. When we let those things go and we forgive ourselves for comparing to someone else, to wishing that our life was like someone else's. And there's nothing wrong to look to others for inspiration or something, maybe that you want to strive to do or to accomplish. There's nothing wrong with that. But when we use that to put ourselves down because we are not there yet, or we will never get there, or we can't ever get there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, it causes toxicity to build up. And so forgiveness today is such a huge thing, and it does begin with ourselves for all of those reasons. And I know that we're also going to talk about the space that it takes up in our energy field as well. And that's a very big part of it.